Hi, this is Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, here to fix you and help you grow your property and your business affairs to the next level. So if you're looking for knowledge and insights about how to get involved in property, solve your problems about scalability in your property business, then do watch our 20-minute clips. We've taken them from hundreds and, thousands of videos that we've taken over the last 6 months, and we've broken them into simple chunks which can make them useful for you. So do watch and do subscribe to our YouTube channel underneath as well.
To help, you've got this wonderful sense of, using lots of different oils and stuff and using them to calm your senses and balance the body energies. How do you deal with the rest of it though, the madness around? Because even if it's a little town up in the north, there's madness there as well. There's cars and there's traffic and there's greed there as well. Greed is not limited to the square mile or to the people in the big city. I'm sure greed is everywhere. How do you reconcile that? How do you deal with materialistic things? How do you deal with that? How do you not buy a pair of nice jeans and decide to wear just a pair of A jeans?
Well, for a start, everybody's different, and there's no right or wrong. There just is, right? And we have to get away from this duality thinking, because, and being in judgment. For me, materialism isn't important, but I just want to pick up on one of the things that you said about the evil that comes with money and wealth, because money and wealth itself is not evil.
That's a valid point. I think it was made.
We can be brought up with these sayings, money is the root of all evil. And what that does, it puts in place a poverty consciousness, and it stops people from actually becoming who they can be and really standing in the power. Because, through the society, we're sort of conditioned to play small. And so I have a certain amount of respect for people who are really wealthy, because they've got past that. They've got past those limiting beliefs. But then what other limiting beliefs do they have in other areas? Because, we've all got them. So for me, it's not important, but I don't think it's wrong. If I want to buy something, I will do. I shop a lot in charity shops. I love bargain hunting. But equally, I like to have some really nice signature pieces. So I've got a capsule wardrobe. So if I'm presenting on stage, for example, I've got something really nice that I can wear and that I feel good in, like bamboo ethical clothing, right? So there's nothing wrong with wealth.
Okay.
It's what you do. It's easier to help the world by being wealthy than it is by being poor.
There's a wonderful thing. I think it was said once before. We had a lovely lady on a few weeks ago. She said, well, money isn't evil. She said the same thing. Actually, with money, can you do good, which is the way to look at money. So yes, there's money and evil it's not a natural conjunction. Money itself is a state, and if you have money, if you've got a positive thinking, you can do good with money, and that's the way to possibly perceive of money. But when you're living in the city and you see what money does in terms of people who don't have that positive thinking, who literally don't know how to spend that money, and the only thing they see in using the exuberance or the opulence of what money can buy you is literally to manifest itself in things which would be regarded as evil in their own essence. But moving on from that, I'm going to ask you, Mary, what do you think is going to be the major change for you in 21? What do you think has changed since 20 into 21? How are you changing the way you look at your business, the objectives you probably would have set yourself previously? Are you now changing and remolding your your thought on business because of what's happened?
Yes, somewhat, I would say. I'm probably going to give myself an easier time, really. And I'm going to try not to, we can't control the situation, so I'm going to try not to control the situation, really. And I think it's too early days, really. I think, I use energy manifestation, stuff like that more in my business, I suppose, than I have goals, I have things I want to achieve, but I do feel they have shifted in the last year. And so, I would say this.
Excellent. Okay. So what we've got is we've got this change of understanding, and I think somehow, for whatever it is worth, we are being made to rethink and re-evaluate ourselves. Before I go on to Lakhi Singh and ask him how he has re-evaluated his own personal self and his business, and whether he has come to any realization about what he has been doing before and what he should be doing now. A big shout out from Neil Soha and from I think it's Leslie Court, is it? Yeah. I've got Amrit Gujar, Julie Ford, and a couple of others. And Julie Ford says a shout out to everyone in name. So in particular, Deborah and Mary, Lakhi, and I think I'm somewhere in there as well. Okay, let me see. What is it that you have had to re-evaluate in yourself since 2020, or whatever's happened this year? What have you had to re-evaluate about yourself?
So I think the major challenge, this year has been more, around mental health, because I think there's a stat that I think Deborah and I were on a conference call with somebody who's quite interested in some of the work that she does, a gentleman called Asif Mohammed, and one of the points that he raised yesterday was that 70% of the US population now have some sort of major mental health because of the COVID-19 spread. Now, what does that mean in real terms? In real terms, I think I must have had COVID-19 at the beginning part of the year in January time or February time. I think I was quite ill for about 5 or 6 months because it really drained my energy, both physically and mentally as well. So I think whatever it is, however it's been, created this thing, COVID-19, I think we should ignore where it comes from. I think we should now focus on ensuring that we are within ourselves able to fight it, and just ensure that we are balanced. Because if it's affecting your abilities to be effective in your decision making, and it's also affecting if it's affecting your health, it's going to affect you personally as well at a mental health level. And there's also the fear factor that's going on with the staying at home and keeping a distance. There's a lot of mental anxiety and depression, the isolation causes to people, especially in a very sort of secular society. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think the biggest challenge this year has been to try and get my health back up to par. For the last 8 weeks especially, what I've done is, to share it, is that I've actually, really focused in on my diet, really focused in on exercising twice a week, but quite sort of hardcore. Really focused in on getting the best technology from using some of the technology that Deborah uses and people that she's recommended to us. So I think, to be honest, it's been probably one of the toughest years in my life, I'd say, from a mental health point of view.
Okay, we're going to move on then. It does sound like a bit of a story on every account. Every person's got something to talk about that's quite deep, quite meaningful. Got a shout out from a Mr. Jamil. Good morning, sir, to you, Irfan. Thank you so much for your shout out. Soha says, man proposes and God disposes. That's it. Which is in a roundabout way exactly what Deborah is saying and exactly what Mary's saying. A belief that once things are happening, you can't do anything but accept them and do your best. I think that's really the message and the positive energy on everything that we're getting this morning.
I disagree with you there, Professor.
Pardon?
I disagree with you there about you can't do anything. You can do a lot through your own mental state and your own state of being, and you know, you can change your life. You can change the people's lives around you by how you are. So you can do a lot yourself. It's about managing your own state.
No, I'm saying, okay, so your state, but the fact is that some people, and this is a comment that's come from Neil Soher, some people are so frustrated and they have so much anxiety about the future, the uncertainty, that they get caught up in what they're trying to do today. So how it is that people can get beyond their immediate issues and stop themselves from worrying about the future, what they can't see, that I think is the art. Throw a couple of children into that, and a couple of mortgages into that, and a couple of other things into that. I think it does become difficult, and I think I understand what you're saying, Deborah, but then that's probably where you've got to help people and get out there and get people to realize that all these things, children, mortgages, cars, you know, the payments, the credit cards, they're all just somewhat a sort of like a circumstance that can be changed by positive thinking.
No, it's not just about positive thinking. It's about your whole state of being, and it's about rather than living in the future, it's about living in the present moment of now. In the quantum field, that's all we ever have is the present moment of now. So when you can learn to have that emotional control. And you've got to think about, if I'm worrying about this, I'm actually creating more of it in the quantum field. You're attracting more of that too. You know, I've got personal experience of this. I've been there. You know, I've been there without the money, you know, with all the appliances blowing up in the house and not having the money to replace them and what have you. And then I learned about, you know, how your mind is like a magnet, and whatever you're focusing on, you're attracting more of it. It's like the law of attraction. So if you can focus on the reality that you want to create, live in the moment of now and have the emotional control and live as if you've already got it, well, then it changes. You get like a shift. And it's just the way that the universe works. And people might be listening to this and think, you know, it's all very well good for her. You know, she hasn't got the mortgage to pay and the kids. But I've been there, and I've been there, and I do know what it's like. I know what it's like to have no money. You know,
so how did you learn this? I think the question that's popping up in everyone's head, Deborah, is: did you learn this technique or the ability to focus on being internally positive, or did someone teach you? Did you have a mentor or a teacher that got you to this state of mind? Before you answer that question, I will move on to Mary. Mary, is that the way you actually handle the stresses of the things you have to manage in your business with the children, etc., etc.? Do you manifest positivity to get positivity? Is that the way it works?
I think it will work for me, and I think what might work for other people who maybe want to get more into this is if you start from gratitude, that will actually come to you eventually. So mine came from personal experience. Coming back to this country 5 years ago with pretty much nothing and 2 small children, no money. I'd spent 8 years building a business abroad that I had to leave, and also it was a really terrible time. I lost my mother the week I came back. So there were just so many different things happening. I was very, very depressed. I think it was 5 months later, I had to go and start waitressing. I've been building luxury villas, and now in the evenings I was waitressing to make money, £8 an hour. And my first night waitressing, I opened all the wrong bottles of wine. It was just a nightmare. And the third people that came into that restaurant had a daughter with them, and she was terminally ill. And I was at a point where I was about to kind of give up or walk out. And I just thought, oh my God, like, they've come here to have this incredible evening. Might be one of their last evenings with her. They've chosen this restaurant. I'm serving them. God, I'm just so grateful. And my life changed in that moment. I could go back home that night, go into my room, look at my children who were healthy. And gratitude changed my life. And I think gratitude can change a lot of people's life. Yeah, we have so many pressures. I've had a really difficult year, but I can start each day with 20 minutes of gratitude. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes. My children are healthy. I've got the mortgage. I've got a house. Turn all these negatives into your gratitude, and honestly, I can't see anyone that it won't work for. So
excellent. I think this is coming live, and it's real, and it's not made up, and you're not reading in a book. This is a live person telling us how positivity and reflecting it and looking at the goodness in gratitude. The word is gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to Lakhi Singh.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Simple.
Gratitude.
Simple.
Yes. I'm grateful that all of us are here this morning discussing this topic. Before I move across to Lakhi Singh, we've got a couple of new people who've given us a shout out. Graham, I think we've got Graham. Yes. Okay, we've got Kiran, we've got Graham, and we've got another person as well. Another person. I'm sorry we've not been able to read out everyone's messages. We've got lots of people watching us today. I think the two young ladies have attracted a lot of attention. Can't be me, and it's definitely not Lakhi Singh. Lakhi Singh, tell me, gratitude, isn't that the key word for 2021? Is that not one of the main words we should be working on? Gratitude.
I think most definitely. I think, unfortunately, everything we get taught is not necessarily the best way of thinking, because we're in a very fear-led type society. We've got to have a nice car, got to have a nice house, got to keep up with the Joneses, got to have enough money, got to have X amount of holidays a year. So I think having gratitude for and appreciating whatever you do have, doesn't matter how much or how little you've got, having that type of thinking and actually really embracing it and actually making it true is really, really critical. So I'm sort of somewhat blessed as a reminder of this, because you need to sort of practice it. It's a bit of an art to have gratitude and really rejoice with all the things you do have.
Because you're the one who's actually sort of put focus to today. So I'm normally the one who makes the moves, but today Deborah's actually brought back some reality to the topic. Tell me, is the word...
No messing with Deborah, mate.
Yeah. We've got MC Femem taking over my show. I've got Deborah now taking over my show. But Deborah, tell me, is the word gratitude, or is there a better word to describe the way to come into 21 being positive?
If everybody focused on gratitude, there wouldn't be any mental health issues. Tell you that now. It's so powerful. It melts away every single negative emotion. It's super powerful.
Excellent. So I'm going to rely on my kissy stick. The kissy stick allows me to be grateful for everybody 6 foot away from me, and I can touch them with my rubber lips and be grateful. But I think today's topic is actually, if anything, tomorrow, remember, it's the new year of 21. We've got a 1 minute silence at 8:10 to 8:11. So please, everyone, join us. Everybody on YouTube watching us, do come and join the group. And I think the key word for 21 for me today has actually focused me on thinking the word gratitude. Mary, I am grateful to you for making me see what I couldn't see. Deborah, I'm even more grateful to you for finding and showing me the light. I've got to start looking internally inside myself, and I'm going to get rid of the weirdness that I carry around. Lakhi Singh, as usual, the man, the mover, the shuka, the ruka, the fruka, the gentleman who is the mover and the shaker. See you tomorrow, next year, 21, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we will have the 1 minute silence for all of those people who have had an unfortunate incident this year, to lose someone they love, to have seen and experienced the issue of the virus, and obviously those people who are just finding it hard to get that understanding of what. And I think, Deborah, can we have a show with you literally telling people how to find that element of gratitude, how to find that place that you're in? Because that's a wonderful place. I would love to be there, not in terms of literally be there in the north, I mean, gratitude terms. Take care. See everyone tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m.